Now you may notice that there's something a little off here, which is that if this is really an iPhone, our site is showing up pretty dense on the screen. That's because by default, iPhones and many other mobile devices will assume that the site is designed for desktop, and it will try to crunch the whole site on the screen at once and allow the user to zoom into different sections. What we want to do though is tell mobile devices that we've kept them in mind. So the way that we do that is with a viewport meta tag. Let's do a quick search in our browser for that to pull up some examples. So I'm just going to search for viewport meta, and I'll pull open the developer.mozilla.org examples here. Now if we scroll down long enough, we'll see under viewport basics an example of how to set this. We haven't used any meta tags so far, but meta tags are a way that we can tell the browser some additional details about the page that we're on. For example, we can set a description for the page, and we can also set keywords and other data. Viewport tells the browser what we expect from the viewport, which is the space in which we can see the browser. So with this tag, we have a couple of attributes. The name, which is the name of the meta value that we're going to be adjusting, and then the content, which is the value associated with this key. So in this case, we're setting the viewport to width equals device width. And this is simply telling the browser that whatever size the device is, that is the width that we expect for our web page as well. And then we're setting the initial scale to 1, which means that we're not zooming in or zooming out at all from the content. Let's copy this whole meta tag here. And we won't look at the details of this page, but definitely consider reading through and getting a sense of what this is doing behind the scenes and where you might need some variations on this. And I'll go back to our index.html page, and then below our title, and this could just happen anywhere in our head tag, I'm going to paste in our meta tag, and I'll save it. And now let's go back to our example and refresh. And you can see now that we're zoomed in to the point where the content looks about right for the viewport. And we can do some scrolling down to see what our site would look like on this device. And for the most part, it looks pretty good. We have a little bit of funkiness here in our slideshow. And as we scroll up, we also aren't getting all of our content displaying properly in this slideshow. And finally, at the top here, our account and site search don't quite fit anymore in a window this small. Now, if the user flipped this, I'm going to hit this flip in order to go into landscape mode, things look a little bit better. We can scroll down here. Our content fits in this slideshow, and you can see we can test out our swipe ability using Flex Slider, and everything else looks good. So we'd have to decide whether we want to spend the time to get our slideshows working right in portrait mode. That is when this is flipped straight up and down like this. Now, if we're also not optimizing for iPhone 4s and we bump up to say an iPhone 6 and refresh, you can see we get a little bit more space to work with.